Gruesome Magazine.
Hello once again, I am Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-host, Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, gory genre offerings. I left out an and, but that's okay. Tonight, we are doing a film called The Dead Ones, and this is going to be this might be a heated conversation. Stick around for this. This is going to be interesting because this film tackles some topics that I don't think we were quite ready for. Let's just introduce everybody first and we'll get to it. All right. Up first is Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. My name's Jeff, and I'm a horroraholic, and I haven't seen a horror movie for 2 hours.
No, we have to do something about that, sir.
What was that?
All right. Also joining us this week.
That's how they announce themselves in Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm alcoholic. Yes. I haven't had a drink since blah, blah, blah. So haven't seen a horror movie for 2 hours. Not doing very good.
Is Crystal Cleveland, the living dead girl. There's a little bit of a lag, so this is going to be fun. Crystal, how you doing?
Good. Is there a lag with me? Am I lagging too? I'm like, whoa, is this weird?
No, just a little on Jeff. Who is that with you?
And of course, you all know the fabulous Oliver. Oh, look at him. Look at him.
Is he snoring? Is he snoring? He's leaving. Look at him close his eyes.
He's not snoring right now, but I could make him snore if I like get him in the right position, and he's like.
I can imagine a little teeny dog snoring. That's wonderful. All right, I need to introduce one of my my dearest friends, Dave Dreher. He's been doing H&R with me for over 7 years. Dave, how you doing, sir?
Hello. Well, once again, it's not a real dog. Just making sure everybody's aware of that.
Is that
Doing good. Little hot around the collar tonight, but we're okay.
Yeah.
2020 keeps the hits coming, doesn't it? It just
it's always fucking.
I mean, Jeff, you're in Iowa, so you got that crazy storm come through.
Derecho, is that what it was?
Derecho or something. I don't know how it's pronounced.
That picture you posted up today of all the damage that was done to the crops. That was crazy.
Nasty. Yeah.
That was
100 mile an hour winds, about a 50 or 60 mile swath across the state.
Yeah, it went all the way over to Chicago, didn't it? Just kept going.
Yeah. Well, I've been in my basement for 2 days because Jeff texted me and said it's coming your way, so I just came to the basement.
You just went to the basement, and now your air conditioning's out.
I said down the hatches, dude.
Oh my gosh! And of course, Crystal, us in North Carolina, dealing with a earthquake this week. Did you feel it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I felt it. Absolutely, okay. I felt it. Like actually, what was crazy about it is the whole house shook and the windows went whoa. Wow.
Did they?
Like that. Yeah, that was super weird. It was like, wow. I was like, wait, was that freaking earthquake? I was like, wait, do they have those here? I was like, I know what it feels like, but I didn't know y'all had them in North Carolina.
But not often. It's I didn't feel it here in Raleigh, but Christopher G. Mohr, who's on H&R, he felt it. He lives here.
Well, I was awake though, so it didn't wake me up. I was awake at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get down to our movie tonight. People are like, "Why aren't you guys reviewing movies? What's it all about? Earthquakes and weather?" But anyway, because 2020 is like a movie we're all living in. It's weird. All right, we're talking about The Dead Ones. This is from Artsploitation Films, being released in 2020. It actually made its debut in 2019 in film festivals. It's coming out August 25th, 2020. It is directed by Jeremy Kasdan, written by Zach Chasler, and starring Sarah Rose Harper, Brandon Thane Wilson, Katie Foster, among others. And it basically is about 4 outcast teens. Summer detention means being assigned to clean their high school after a horrific incident. But they are not alone. A macabre gang wearing disguises as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, famine, pestilence, war, and death, have locked them inside and are hunting them through the school's ravaged hallways. As the 4 students battle to survive, each must confront the supernatural echoes of past trauma they have struggled to forget and may be condemned to relive again. All right, high school is hell. So that's the tagline. So this film, on the description and the trailer sounds like it'd be interesting. Kids in a haunted high school dealing with some, the tragedy. But is that how this film played out? And what is our first impression of it? So that's what we do. Our first impression. And I can't wait to hear this because I have a clue of what they're going to be, and this is going to be exciting. And we're going to start off with Dave Dreher. Dave, what is your first impression of?
Oh, you have to start with me, don't you?
Give it to us. Lay it on us, buddy.
I really, 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 really hated this film. Hated this film. This is probably of all 7 years, Doc, that we've been doing this. This is the first film that actually kind of offended me a little bit. It started off offending me just on a technical level because this thing was edited by a fucking chipmunk or something. Because I don't know who edited this thing, but my God, I mean, there's like close up of a nose, close up of an arm, close up of a fingernail, up back. I mean, they're just all over. I think at one point I counted something along the lines of 18 cuts in like a 45-second period. I mean, it was just insane. So first of all, I'm like, okay, this was obviously made by a kindergartner. But then we got into the actual subject matter of this movie, and it's just horrendous. It's just absolutely horrendous. I guess, we always hear that said that we all have our line, right? There's a line and we won't cross it. Making money off of high school shooting tragedies is my line, apparently. I mean, if I want to watch a horrific movie about high school mass shootings, I'll watch Bowling for Columbine. I don't need this piece of shit. The scene where they shot the kid in the back who's wearing the backpack, I was like, that's it. I'm done. Out. I don't need this in my life. I just really, really dislike this movie on just about every level you can dislike a movie.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because, where does art, cross the line? And you're right. And for each of us, it is a personal, level, a personal plateau that, that it reaches. And, but then there's some, like maybe the topics in here that get a little more common. But let's find out about the rest of the crew. Crystal Cleveland, you're up next. What is your first impression of The Dead Ones?
Okay, so I didn't dislike it as much as Dave did. Shockingly, I wasn't really bothered about the school shooting aspect of it because I felt, in a way, it was their comeuppance, as it were. Did some things about this movie offend me? Yes. But for me, what was interesting is what offended me most is their depiction of cutting and mental illness of one of the girls. I was really kind of interested and weirded out and put off by it. I mean, I was a cutter. And so I guess maybe it's a little personal for me. And of course, I don't make any, qualms about the fact that I do see a psychiatrist and I have no issue with that. I'm on meds. It's all good. No worries. But I do think that they handled it in a strange way. And I don't feel like it was very authentic in its portrayal. Once again, that's not really such a big deal to me. Shockingly, the movie started off and I was like, oh, yeah, I see why Dave didn't like it because I had already known how he felt about it. But somewhere along the way, I kind of started liking it. I know it's weird. I know it's strange. I kind of feel like the shooting aspect, God, it's such a tragedy when it happens and it bothers me more than anything because harming children is a line for me for sure. But because it was kind of a backstory in a way to these kids, it wasn't in the forefront of my mind. And so I think that helped. Obviously, it has this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but it's very obvious that they're in hell. And it's like a Dante's Inferno type of, they pretty much spell it out for you. For those that didn't understand it, the theater, it's like Dante's Inferno. And they're going through these, kind of levels. And then, of course, they come to the realization and then they have basically a Groundhog Day sort of thing. Basically, I told you the whole movie. Sorry. It's not hard to figure out.
Your description was actually better than the film, so thank you.
Yeah, so basically that's what. Did I love it? No, but I didn't hate it, and I enjoyed some aspects of it. I really liked the masks that they wore. I dug them. I thought they were cool. I thought some of the things were a little traumatizing for me. These kids were total jerks, but they did. It's such an interesting way that they did it because they almost seem innocent at first, and then you realize what's happening. And I kind of liked the boxing Helena kind of thing, on the guy on the floor. And there were some moments I enjoyed, and so I think I kind of liked it.
Wow, boxing
Sorry,
Helena.
Dave.
That's a
I
reference.
totally get it. Yeah.
All right, Jack, you're up next. What is your first impression of The Dead Ones?
Yeah, I don't know because this is.
Oh wow!
I have the same problems with it, and so before I even get into this, I'm going to say I kind of liked it. I liked the characters and the story and what happens to them, and I had the same problems that Dave and Crystal had in that I'm not sure this should have been made. I don't think we need any, how-to things on school shootings or anything that might encourage anybody. And I was also thought it was very weird, the portrayal of the what was her name? Was it Emily? Emily had the cutting issue, and actually other. She had some sort of mental issue and was supposed to be on some medication, I think. And I'm on a medication too, so just in the interest of honesty, I don't know. I just felt like it didn't deal with those very well. There wasn't a lot of sympathy, or there wasn't a lot of I don't know. It just bothered me. Now, yeah, I like the mask too. I liked a lot of the scenes in terms of horror, and it does have a little bit of redeeming message, I guess. And one of the characters gets some redemption towards the end, and these people are, the other three are being punished. What they're going through, but it's sort of the Groundhog Day in hell. So yeah, I don't know. I was okay with the acting. I was okay with the special effects. I kind of thought the editing was sort of a style. I thought it was so prevalent. I just figured that's what they were going for, to try to create a chaotic or a self, kind of a found footage type thing almost. But I don't know. I don't know what to say because it bothered me at the same time, and I kind of liked it. So I'm gonna have a real interesting score. If I could have took, I was trying to think of what's another background they could have used for this, and I don't know. There's just some things you're just always going to run into that in horror. I mean, how many horror movies have serial killers? And some of them are pretty damn realistic, and there's serial killers all over the place. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a touchy subject, and I was a little bothered by it as well. It just felt uncomfortable. This movie is not a comfortable or fun watch. It just at least for me, I was really kind of bothered by the topic, and I think that was partially the purpose, but I don't know. I kind of lean toward Dave. It's done in a way that I question whether it was done on a purpose for a message or if it was used to be exploitive. It's really touch and go at times, at least from the way I took it, and sometimes it just felt a little sensationalized. The one thing that like really bothered me is like one guy was jumping around and acting very much like a Joker character, even to the voice sounding like the Joker, and I don't appreciate that being the go-to. It just feels a little problematic, with other actions. Maybe it's too accurate in some cases, but it's I don't know. It really bothered me. I like the characters, the 4 characters in the acting. I mean, it wasn't a surprise what was happening at all. Like, we're not spoiling anything. It's kind of obvious and to the point.
Yeah.
I don't think they wanted it to be on the point as much as it was, but it was kind of like, okay, let's see how this unfolds. And it, the characters basically betray themselves as the story goes along, and that in and of itself, that exploration is rather fascinating. And the effects range from really good to god awful. There's a couple in there. There's a scene where the glass breaks on this cabinet in a hallway, and it's so bad. It is so bad. And I was like, oh, that's bad. But yet at the other times, there's some special effects scenes that are really gruesome, especially some of the makeup, like the head, the teacher with the head hole.
Oh, yeah.
So it's and then the ghosts are really weird, oddly portrayed, and not really sure what the spirits are. I mean, narratively you understand, but visually I don't necessarily get what they're after consistently. And so there's structurally some issues, but so it's not. Yeah, I kind of dislike this film quite a bit, but it is a reaction to the topic. And I suspect that's what they're after. They're wanting to push that boundary, and they chose this for a reason. They chose the motivation for a reason. They felt, the writer apparently felt, my take. I didn't read anything on this or anything, but it feels like the writer, had something they wanted to say about this events that are happen way too often, and there's things to say. Is this the appropriate way? Is this the right way? Well, there's 4 different takes here on this this podcast about it, from ranging from it's absolutely horrid to, hey, I kind of like this, and none of them are wrong. They're all right. It's a very touchy kind of subject, and it's
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, what's interesting about it is I feel like this story is trying to encompass a lot in one. I mean, each one of these kids had some sort of disturbing past, and I think that's part of what the point was, that these people who do things like this are not, I guess, just normal, or don't grow up normal, or haven't had normal lives. I mean, you had the girl who, sorry, I'm going to be giving a lot away here, the girl who was molested, then you have the mental illness, and then you have the boy who was tortured or whatever by his sports buddies. I mean, or whatever. I mean,
raised in a high school.
Yeah. So I feel like it is definitely a caricature in a way of what the reality is. And maybe that was why it was a little bit easier for me to stomach, because I'm like, really? Like, all of these kids are just so sad. I don't know. I mean, I think this is a definitely subjective movie. And if you have triggers about school shootings or cutting or the molestation is there, but it's really in the background. There was a creepy moment a little bit, but I'd say this probably isn't the movie for you.
Yeah, there is a certain audience that needs to stay away from this. And one that you're talking about. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, did we lose him?
No, he's.
Well, I think that the director kind of has a reputation for exploitation movies. I mean, even in his IMDb bio, he quotes somebody quotes some reviews that call him full of pretension and disgusting. One of his other movies. So,
nice.
Which he's
what was
probably,
the company?
which is probably labeled as the bloodiest, most exploited.
I mean,
yeah,
I guess it makes
that's
sense.
The distributor. Yeah. But I think they also did they also do Dead Dicks, which wasn't like, it's not that they actually Anyway, so it's just a comment. If you're a fan of this guy, if this is somebody you're looking for, you're probably getting more of the same. But I was thinking of Stephen King's, one of the Richard Bachman books, Rage, that I think didn't King pull that off the shelf?
Yeah,
he
Rage. He took Rage off the shelf. Yeah, it was a book called Rage. He took it off the shelf after the school shooting started. But this was no Rage.
Well, no, but it's a similar topic.
Yeah, exactly. There's just
one artist making a decision to remove it from sale. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
All right, well, let's wrap this one up and give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. So, Dave, this is going to be interesting for you. But before we do, please subscribe below if you're enjoying what you're seeing, and I hope you are. Hit the bell to get notified, and hit the like button or hit the down like button. I don't care either. Leave some messages. You can say we're being super sensitive and tell us why. You can Jeff's hitting me. You can give us comments. We love the comments, and we thank you for those who have been commenting along, and it's really greatly appreciated. And if you're listening on the podcast, please subscribe, and of course leave a review on iTunes. All of this helps as we find a larger audience. But now, let's do it. Final thoughts, score, favorite scene, and Dave, you're up first.
Well, you guys changed my mind. I love this movie now. No, I mean, there are certain criteria in movies. And again, we all watch disturbing, disgusting stuff. At the end of the day, it has to either entertain me or educate me or inform me or show me something I'd never seen before. This doesn't, none of that. It seemed very exploitive, easy for me to say. And it did nothing but just piss me off. There was no reason to show me what they showed me. There just isn't. Obviously, I'm giving this one like a 0.5. I just did not care for this movie. With that being said, though, my esteemed colleagues did bring up the fact about the masks, and the masks do look really good. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Those are some creepy ass masks. There's no doubt about it. I would have rather seen those 4 characters going around and wreaking some havoc, in a more or less controversial way. So as far as the favorite scene go, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the reveal of the 4 Horsemen, in particular the skeleton face guy, because I thought they were really creepy.
That was my favorite too.
Yeah, really creepy masks. But yeah, this movie technically, morally, and it just has no significance in my life whatsoever. I will never look at this film again.
Ouch. Oh, it's much respect, sir. All right, Crystal, you're up next. Give me your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
So, even though I liked it more than Dave, I have to agree that I think that it's definitely probably not for everyone. That being said, I enjoyed it and I was entertained. I'm sorry, I feel like a horrible person, but I really kind of liked it. I'm actually going to give it a 2.5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I mentioned it before, and I've just got to say it again because it really kind of messed me up, but it was the boxing.
Oh, no, I know. I can't believe you brought that back up. I just thought
it was so weird, and I was like, oh, that disturbs me so badly. That gets me. That gets me for some reason. So have you seen Boxing Elena? Basically, it's so the no arms and the no legs.
I just didn't hear
worm. Yeah, that just really messes with my head. It's like, oh god, that actually made me really sad. And I mean, he deserved it, really, but
Yes, he did. All right, Jeff Mohr, you're up next. What is your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene? The dead ones.
Well, I think you should be able to tell from our discussion so far whether this is something that you might want to see. I'm not trying to censor it or anything. If I was going to rate this purely as a movie I don't know. I followed the story. I watched it. I kind of enjoyed it. I would give it a 2.5. But the overall topic, etc., has continued to bother me, both in terms of the Emily and the cutting and the high school shooting setting. So I got to go with Dave at around. I'm going to go 1 though, because I like the actors. I thought the actors were. I mean,
I thought
you hated them when you were supposed to hate them. You know, they just
yeah. I mean, they were committed to it, right? And even, I mean, everybody seemed to be, even the extras running around the school.
Yeah, and for a favorite scene, I'm going to take the final scene when you see sort of the redemption of one of the characters, even though they have committed this horrendous act. Somehow in their purgatory, they have redeemed themselves in some way. Yeah.
Strange. I don't understand how that works, but that's redemption is there, I guess, somewhere, maybe at least 25% of the time. All right, I'm kind of in Dave's camp. This movie offended me, and it wanted to, and it got me. Good going, yay! It wasn't entertaining for me. It was a hard watch, and it wasn't. I mean, it challenged me to watch it, but it didn't challenge me in a way I like to be challenged with a movie. That's another thing that I like for, you're entertaining and all this stuff, but I also want to be in a film like this that wants to be controversial. It needs to challenge my thoughts about it. And it didn't really do that. I don't think it just kind of, I think we've used the word exploit. I think it just was very exploitive. I'm probably getting too carried away with the topic, but it's hard not to. It's hard for me to judge it kind of like Jeff did, although I like that you did that, because the acting is solid. The kids, the 4 kids especially, are very committed and very very raw to their characters, and it works. The technique is all over the place. The editing's all over the place. The effects range from really bad to really good, and it's a little bit frustrating in that respect. Narratively, it's a little hard to follow, even though you get it. It's still kind of narratively difficult to keep in tune with it, and that bothered me too. So there's a lot of things going on with this film, in addition to the overall topic for me. So a 1 is the best I can do, and that is for the 4 main actors. I'm just going to give it to them. They deserve all the credit. Although the design of the mask, you're right about that too. My favorite scene though is let's choose. So there's a lot of the later on in the scene. There's a part that happens in the auditorium, and that has some of the more interesting graphics. Kind of giving that Dante's Inferno feel that Crystal was mentioning, and one of the characters falls to their death as 2 other characters come in, and it was shot really. That's where it's like all over the place. Like sometimes it's really weird and awful, but then this time it's like, wow, that actually worked out really well, and it nice thud as he hits, and it worked. And then you get this really awkward shot of him on the floor that it's like, that is so silly, but yeah, okay, let's go with it. I liked that the eyes wiggled.
I liked it too. Yeah. I thought it was because he looked messed up.
He looked messed up, but it looked a little.
And I liked it.
Funny,
so yeah.
And I'm reaching for that. I really, oh my gosh, this film. We're going to catch some crap for this one, I think. And I'm okay. I'm okay.
We've caught crap. We've caught crap before. It's okay.
Sometimes
I'm still getting crap for one of mine.
I just have a little mitt and crap. Yeah, Jeff did it too. And crap's just coming my way.
It's just our opinion.
You have to be honest, or don't.
That's it. And watch it. Why? Yeah. Watch it. Watch for yourself. See what you think. This is just what we thought, or what I thought.
Yep. Yeah. Let us know what you think down below. We want to hear from you. All right, Jeff, Crystal, Dave, thank you for joining me tonight.
Of course.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun talking
It
about
was.
this movie. All right. let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.